If you haven't seen my previous video, click the link here. And as always, please subscribe. So I've gotten a ton of questions on my Instagram on how I achieved my latest color, so I figured why not just show you. So if you'd like to see how I achieved my latest Midnight Unicorn, please keep watching. So like I've mentioned before, I only bleach my hair about 3 times a year, which means that my roots can look something seriously crazy the rest of the time. But I have a trick for dyeing my hair in such a way that you can't even tell. Basically, what I'll be showing you today is how I update my roots and the rest of my color without having to re-bleach. We'll be using the Jerome Russell Punky Colors in 2 different colors, which I'm calling Midnight Unicorn. To begin, you want to make sure you're wearing clothes that you don't care about and protecting your skin with oil to make sure that it's easy to remove any rogue dye. Next, you're going to take the colors you're working with. I'm using the Midnight Blue along with the Plum, and both of these are Jerome Russell Punky Colors. They are absolutely gorgeous. Depending on how light or dark you want your color to be, you can use more or less conditioner. The more conditioner you use on these darker colors will push it more into the pastel family. But basically what you want to do is just add a little bit of your color into the conditioner at a time. I'm starting here with the Plum, which is going to be my lighter color, and then I'm going to move on to mixing a second dish with just the Midnight Blue and conditioner. That's this color here. So when you're done, you should have 2 different containers. The one on the left is my one that I mixed with Plum, and the one on the right is the one I mixed with the Midnight Blue. To begin, you are going to section your hair into 4 equal parts, clipping 3 out of the way. You are then going to take your darker Midnight Blue color, or whichever darker color that you mixed, and apply that around the edges of one of the sections. I do this in this manner first in order to make sure that I don't miss any spots. So I go around the edges completely, and then I'll go back through and part section by section in order to make sure that the center is getting color as well. Once I've done that, I then go back in with my hands and make sure that the roots have been completely saturated with color. You don't want to end up rinsing all of your hair out and realizing that you missed a giant spot right in the middle. One trick that I also do is I start pulling some of that color down with my hands, not applying any more of that to your hair, because in that way you'll get a nice fade of your color from your roots to the end without having a choppy line right in the middle of one color versus your other color. Depending on what colors or tones of colors that you're using, you can be a little bit messy. As you can see, there's a giant handprint of blue in the middle of my hair color. It won't end up mattering. So I wanted to show you what the color looked like, but apparently I wasn't very good at centering my head in front of the camera. But as you can see here, I'm going with this darker midnight color on my roots because they're already dark and I do not want to re-bleach them. So this way, it's going to hide that fact that my roots are completely not light anymore and the rest of my hair is basically blonde. Once you have your colors mixed, this process is really simple. You're just going to repeat this over your entire head, starting strictly with doing the roots in all 4 sections, and then later we will go back through and do just the ends. Okay, just a mini recap. Now that you've completed the entire section of just your roots, you're going to put your brush down and then use your hands to make sure that you haven't missed any little baby curls in the section that are at your roots only. Then you're going to just take your hands and pull some of that excess dye down towards the ends of your hair so that you don't get any splotchy color. Next, you're going to move on to your next color, which is our lightest color. We are going to release one of our sections, and at this point you don't need your brush anymore. It's actually easier to do the ends of your hair with just your hands. I'm going to show you here using my brush just so you can see how light the color actually is. When applying the dye to these smaller sections, I do the similar technique that I do when I'm finger detangling my hair. And at this point, I am actually finger detangling my hair. Because you have that color and the conditioner, you have a nice slip going that allows for you to get really good detangling done on your hair, which, why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone? But as you can see here, the lighting is a little bit off. It makes the color look significantly more blue than it actually is. At the end of the video, I'll actually show you some pictures and videos of what the color looks like once my hair is dry. but you're just going to work that color into your hair, and the point of doing it this way is really just to make sure that you do not miss any curls. The downside about dyeing your hair when it is curly is that those ringlets sometimes lend for it not to get color in the center of them, and you really don't want that to happen. So all I'm doing here is just working that lighter color, which is the plum mixed with conditioner, throughout the rest of the section. Once you're done applying color to all 4 sections, you're just going to pin them up and then take some rubbing alcohol and a cotton pad and just use that to wipe off any rogue dye that has gotten all over your ears, skin, hand, neck, toe, ground, you get the point. And then you're just going to cover your hair with a plastic cap, or which is a grocery bag at this point. You're going to let this sit on your hair for about 20 to 30 minutes. Really no longer than that is really necessary. And then final results time. 1, 2, 3, fabulous. So as you can see here, my hair looks a lot more on the blue side, which is what I've dubbed my midnight unicorn, of course. But it is actually showing up here on camera a little bit more blue than it actually is in real life. So if you look at this image, or I guess video to the left, that's a lot more true to color. And the interesting thing about these fashion colors is that it does make a difference in what lighting you're in. So as you can see on the right, I'm in kind of this yellow lighting of my house, and the colors on the left were ones where I was outside. So if you enjoyed watching my transformation using the Jerome Russell colors into a beautiful midnight unicorn, please comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching.